how did you and your girl and your wife meet?
All right. We met. We met just
Just like
casually.
that?
Met in church and
Okay, in church.
yeah.
So how did it go? How did the brother say I want to date his sister? Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm fine.
You look so cute. How many girlfriends do you have?
I don't have a girlfriend. I have a wife.
Like seriously, you look so very cute. Like
Yeah.
black and everything. Your smile as well.
Mm.
So what do you do for living?
Okay. I'm self-employed.
Same for employed.
Yes.
Okay. Can you just let us know the kind of job you're doing?
Okay. I do quite a lot of things. I do exterior decorations. I do a little bit of PR.
Okay. PRO.
Yeah, a little of PR, and I do other businesses.
Like what do you mean by PR?
Okay, promotions. I do
Okay.
promotions.
What do you promote exactly?
Films.
Alright.
Films promotion.
Okay. That is good. Like right now, did you have any brand you are promoting right now?
Currently at the moment, I don't have any specific brand I'm promoting at the moment, but I've done quite a lot of jobs with them.
Okay, can you make mention of the brands you have promoted in the past?
Well, I work with somebody and we have done we did promotions for Famifuna. We did of recent in December. We did Ogere. We did Small Talks and the rest.
Okay. You said you are not married.
I'm married.
Okay, you are married. Okay. With how many kids?
One
One.
beautiful daughter.
Wow, that is very fine. You said beautiful daughter. I know your daughter will be beautiful because you are handsome,
Thank
and I know your wife will be beautiful as well.
Thank you.
So, how did you and your girl and your wife meet?
All right. We met. We met just casually.
that?
Met in church and
Okay, in church.
yeah.
So, how did it go? How did the brother say I want to date his sister?
Well, in Christendom we don't do dating. What we do is courtship.
Okay.
As at when I met her, I wasn't really ready for relationship or courtship or whatever. But when I sighted her, I just knew somehow, somewhat that there is something within. There's a chemistry within us that's about to react or that's about to connect,
Okay.
and that was it. We weren't even friends. I only saw her for that time, and
Okay.
for quite a number, about 2-3 years, we didn't meet until we met later, and like that. Well, the rest is history.
You said the rest is history. Now you are having a daughter with her, right? Okay, in some Christendom life, they believe that whenever you want to go into relationship, you have to go and meet the pastor, then let your pastor pray for you and ask of God, maybe this relationship is going to bring a good fruit or something. Do you do that?
Yes, you see, um, there is a lot of misconception about this, and that's because we are in a generation that don't want guidance. We're in a generation that don't want corrections. We're in a generation that don't want to be chastised. We're in a generation that does not want to be mentored properly. We're in a generation that don't want people to monitor what they do. Everybody wants to be a free flyer.
Want to do anything?
Everybody wants to do anything they want, and that's so in Christendom. In my own denomination, especially, when you see a sister or a lady that God is leading you to, now I'm specific about the fact that God has to lead you to somebody, because in Christianity you are not permitted to live life carelessly. Now, God has to lead you to somebody. Now, when we say God is leading you to somebody, we are not saying it has to be a must that you must, like some people believe that you must see, you must dream, you must see revelation, you must hear.
Maybe she's drawing water or you are drawing water.
No, that's not what you're
she's
saying.
helping you.
Sometimes it might just be an inward witness. Sometimes it might just be a chemistry. You probably just feeling that there is something more about this person that I need to know. There is something more. You just have this feeling that this person might be the right person. You might not know it, but you might just have this little feeling about that person. So what do you do now? If the person is in your church, it's expedient you talk to your person. One of the reasons is possibly the person might be married, you don't know.
Okay.
Second reason is possibly the person might be in a relationship, certified by the church or approved by the leadership of the church, you don't know. Thirdly, Possibly the person might be having some issues that needs to be talked about first before going into a relationship with that person. So these are one of the reasons why they say, okay, you see you talk to your pastor about it. Now you, because your spiritual level, your spiritual growth is not as much as that of your pastor, or let me say you are still growing, there might be some spiritual implications that your pastor might need to tell you, or you might not might see before you, or by your pastor might have known before you. So that is the reason why we are encouraged, when you see a sister that God is leading you to tell your pastor, not that your pastor will pray for you, your pastor, those days our father usually tell us that when you want to marry, they'll send somebody to go and check out the person's family and stuff like that. That is more like it in
Like it's
Christendom.
fine.
Yeah. So what your pastor does for you is, your pastor kind of do a little research, if that person is not in your church, about that sister first. Is she married? Is she in a relationship? There are a lot of single mothers today who are married legally in church and they are divorced. Do you get
I
it?
get it.
So what the pastor does, a little background check on that person. And the pastor check if that person is actually a child of God, either from a pastor, if she's not in your church. If she's in your church, your pastor knows her. If it's something you should not do, your pastor tell you, no, you can't go into this relationship with this person for so reasons. But if it's something is a relationship you can go into, your pastor tell you can go into this relationship.
Okay, what about like if God leads you to somebody that maybe you see it in the dream, or you feel the chemistry, or you have the feeling for her, then you feel that okay, and you prayed about it. God said, okay, this is the person you are going to marry, and your parent doesn't support you to marry that person. What will you do in that kind of scenario?
You keep praying.
Keep praying.
Yeah.
Keep praying till when?
Keep praying. See, hello sir.
Okay.
Legally, if you take somebody's daughter
Yeah.
to stay with you, or you take her to stay with you,
Yeah.
it is abduction. You've actually abducted, that is kidnapping legally. Now, spiritually, if you take somebody's daughter to stay with you, you are cohabiting, it is fornication.
Okay, I get that. I get
So
that.
if for any reason, if the parent does not approve of it,
Yeah.
now for the fact that they've not approved of it at that time does not mean they will not approve of it forever. But even if for any reason,
But you know, time is going.
yeah,
Eh?
now if you are sure God is leading you to that person,
Okay.
you will wait.
All right. Let me ask this question again. Like, we have so many pastors now. They help you to pray for your partner. Like, they help you to pray, and they tell you, okay, this is the person you are going to marry. But we discover they themselves, they don't have a stable home. They don't have a rigid family. What can you say about that?
Okay. Thank you. You see, for the fact that a pencil writes a wrong thing and the cleaner cleans it, does not mean the pencil is no longer a pencil.
Okay.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
Now, for the fact that the leader of a church or a pastor makes a mistake maritally, are you getting it?
Yes.
Does not mean he hasn't learned from it.
Okay.
Now, and there's this saying that says experience is the best teacher.
Sure.
So what happens if he has truly learned from it, is in the right position to actually counsel you? Now, there's a lot of mistakes a lot of young people make, that my pastor prayed about it.
Yes.
Now, the question is, who says you yourself cannot pray about it?
Okay.
It does not necessarily have to be your pastor praying about it. I think people are getting it wrong from the point where they say, my pastor prayed about it. What has God told you about that person?
So what about if your pastor prayed about it, you said you pray about it, and at the end of the day, you end up divorcing each other?
Now, listen, marriage is all about intentionality.
Okay.
You have to be intentional about it. And I think this is the missing link in most relationships or in most marriages: intentionality. Now, what do I mean? Going into marriage, you have to be intentional about it, that whatever it will take me, my marriage must work.
Okay, you are talking about intentionality. Like, let's take a look at the life of Mercy Shiwo. What is her name? That lady that was being pie by his husband. I've forgotten her name though.
Osinachi.
Osinachi.
Yeah.
So in that kind of a thing, do you like You pray to God, God show you that this is your husband, and in that relationship you are not enjoying yourself, you are being beaten every time, you are being molested every time. Will you advise that kind of a person to stay in that relationship?
Spirituality is not stupidity.
Okay.
And wisdom, the Bible says, is profitable to direct.
Okay.
But it says, in all that getting, gets understanding. If you are in a marriage and you are intentional about it, that whatever comes, my marriage must work.
Yeah.
But when your marriage becomes life threatening, when there's already a case of gender based violence or violence in marriage, and your life is being threatened, it's advisable you separate.
Separate, but not that.
No reasonable man of God will tell you in the place whereby your life is being threatened in marriage that you should remain in that marriage.
But do you know Bible doesn't support divorcing your spouse for anything, or
And
except
also,
maybe he or she is fornicating.
the Bible does not support murder.
I know,
So,
but it's been specified in the Bible that you should not divorce your wife or your husband because of anything unless he or she fornicates.
and do you think if Christ is on earth,
Yeah,
Christ will want any married partner to kill themselves?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah.
So Christ does, the Bible still does not support murder. If you are in a marriage and your life is being threatened in that marriage,
Yeah.
it's advisable you separate.
So if the person that was beating you before, now you separated in that relationship, now the man now come back again to beg you, do you advise this kind of a woman to go back into that relationship?
That decision is left to her to take, but there must be steps to be followed.
Okay.
And what is one of the steps? Both of them need to seek counseling. The guy needs to seek counseling. Probably now you see a lot of people who engage in gender-based violence or domestic violence in marriage. Go and check their records. It is as a result of something they had carried from their youthful age.